Hello and welcome friend. In this tutorial we will try to look at a concept called as here document. Here document. So this has certain usefulness in the sense like this here document can be used for multi-line comments and it can be used for automating the things. Now we have seen that any line which starts with hash in shell script, that is the comment. So which means it will not execute, but there are scenarios wherein you want to comment out multiple lines and you don't want to go and type hash in front of each of these lines like this. That would be painful. And there might be situations where you want to comment out a portion of the code and maybe just for debugging or things like that, and you want to have a quick way so that you can just comment out certain portions. So like I said, doing a hash like this and commenting a line is not very much feasible when there are a lot of lines. So there is a concept called here document, and the syntax goes like this. You have a less than symbol followed by any kind of token. This token is your name. You could have put any token. In my case I'm putting cough, or I could have done EOF, whatever token you want. And whichever token you put, you have to write the same token here. So this token and this token should match, and this token should only be at the beginning of the line. If you have this token moved one character, you see it changes the color. My terminal is detecting the shell script, so it changes the color saying this is a wrong syntax. So it has to start with the starting of the line. So that is very important. Starting of this symbol, it can move in number of characters, it doesn't matter, but the end termination should be here. Now let's see, if I run this script, I will get this printed because this is not commented out. However, I will not get any of this printed. This line would not execute, will not print, because it is part of comment. So it's a multi-line comment using here document. This concept using less than and some token and ending with a token is called as here document. So let me write this also. This concept is called as here document in shell script. So now let's try to execute this program. If I execute this program, you see the first line, this line would execute, and the end line gets executed. So this line would execute, and after the here document, this line would execute. Now if I just comment out this portion itself, like let's suppose I comment out my here document, then all of this, or maybe I will just remove it for clarity so that you guys don't get confused. So you will see that all this line, this line, this line, this line, and even the sleep, it would sleep for 10 seconds and it will execute. So you see it executed everything. Now it is sleeping for 10 seconds. Once it comes out, then it will execute, this line will execute again and it will terminate. So that's the way. So now if you see here, I don't want to put a comments like multiple lines. I don't want to put a hash in front of them, so I just put one token and I end with the same token, and this token has to start with the line. So this is one usefulness of here a document, that it can be used for commenting out multiple lines. Now there is one more use case where you would be using the here document. Let's suppose you want to automate something. You want to go to FTP site and download something. So for FTP, you go and say FTP server name, and then it will prompt you for the username and password. But how do you do that from a shell script? So you want to do something from a shell script wherein you can automatically provide FTP username and password. So let's do one example. I have one server one. Now I go here and I pass certain username. So you see it gets blocked at some username, and then when I provide the username, someone has to provide this. But when we are running the shell script, the script would not pause to provide the username. So how can we achieve that? So what you do is you will use the here document. So the way to write the script is like this. So before I go ahead with this script, I would like to read certain note about FTP. First thing is FTP is obsolete and it's very insecure. So don't use it in any programming code or wherever until and unless it's absolutely needed and you know what you are doing. FTP I'm doing here just for the demonstration of here document. I'm not doing a FTP demonstration. This is a demonstration of here document, and one of the ways in the old days people used to do FTP. This is just for your learning. You could replace this with SSH or SCP or maybe disk partitions. You can do all kind of things with the here document. The concept is same, but since FTP is very trivial protocol and it's available at many of the places in the older system, so I'm displaying this. So I make certain variables instead of just hard coding all this. It's easy for me to put into variables. So I have a FTP server name, the server where you will log in. You have to change this with your IP address. Then the username of the FTP, you replace this with the appropriate username. Password, you replace with the appropriate password, and the directory where to get the file. So there might be a folder, my folder. I'm just saying my folder. I have in my FTP server there's a folder called my folder. In your case it might be your username, home, or maybe folder after folder, or maybe some folders like this my folder, and then inside that there might be maybe another folder one, and so on. So you have to make appropriate changes. And then this is the file I wanted to get from my FTP server. So now let's put this everything together into a script. So like I said, here document, it starts with this in my previous example. So it starts here and it ends here. Now here it is something little bit different. When the here document starts, it needs input. So FTP is the binary which we are running. So FTP minus n and then this server name. So this is just a FTP command. Usually you do FTP server name. Now why this minus n? When you do a FTP and there is an option in FTP to save your username and password in FTP config file. So whenever you run FTP, it will try to log in automatically. We don't want to do that. In my case, I don't have my password saved anywhere, so it will not do that. But it's still better to put minus n options. It's more generic. Now to provide the username, you have to say quote and then followed by the keyword user, which comes from the FTP, and your username, code, password, and then you go to the directory. So whatever you do manually, you are just automating everything. You go to the directory where my folder is present, and then you want to get the file in binary mode or ASCII mode. You have to give appropriately. You want to have a hash, which is a progress bar excuse me, and then you say get file or put file. After that you quit FTP command. It's a FTP command, and then this is this. So this is the way you can automate FTP. So I will run and demonstrate this. So since I have some dummy username and password, so I have replaced this with my actual username password just to run this. So if you see here, there's no file name called filename.txt here. Now I will run this program. It's the same program. This program is the same program. FTP script 1 and FTP script are same. Just in FTP script 1 I have changed with my actual credentials to demonstrate. Now if I run this, you see here I got the progress bar. I got one hash, which means I got some data, and you see this filename.txt I got. There were no filename.txt earlier, so I received filename.txt from my FTP server. Let's remove it and run it again. So I removed this file, nothing is there. Now I run my FTP script and I receive the file. So this is the way you can use that. You can, this is a working example. You can just replace with your variables and everything, and it will work for you. Now, so we have seen that multi-line comments can be used with here documents, and you can automate. Similar, you can do disk partitioning using parted. Like there's a command called parted, gnu parted, and then inside the parted you can do make level. So you can run those commands using here documents. So one more quick example. So there is this switch example. This is my switch example, which we have seen in the switch case statement when we are running, and we used to prompt the user that type a number between 1 to 4 and it will say something. Now let's suppose there is some problem in this code and I'm not sure where the problem is, and I'm debugging. So I wanted to see that whether the problem lies in this part of the code or maybe below that, what should I do? So if I run this program here right now, it will just ask me, and between number 1 2 4 whatever, and I'm not able to see what to do. Right now it's a working code, but let's suppose it is not working, so then there's a problem. So I want to comment out so that I can narrow down my problematic area. So I will just put UF, and this entire thing of while loop will not execute for me. So when I run this, just runs and comes back, that's fine. So I know, okay, this part works fine, so which means that this part is not problematic, this part is not problematic, bottom part is not problematic, this is not problematic, so there might be some problem here. So then I can narrow down and put, maybe with each individual cases also I can put UF. Of course you have to see that you are not writing UF in such a way that there is a syntax error, but you can do multiple comments. If there would have been no UF, then you would have end up doing like this, which would be really bad. You might be doing like this, and this file might be 200 lines, 300 lines, you never know. So that's all about this video, and you have seen that it's a very useful thing when you try to do automation. Even though this is not as good as some of the other automations tools, like if you talk about TCL, TK, those are really very advanced, but it is not part of shell script. But if you want to do something rudimentary and really things which supports here documents like FTP, you can pass username and you can code something, some kind of a prompt system, then you can use here document. So thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. You have a nice time.